Yeah, I'm going to do a reading from the stand-up poet. This is a poem called Carpe Diem. I wrote this having watched the Dead Poets Society and this idea of Carpe Diem, seize the day. And I just think I just thought it was quite amusing to wake up every morning with the intention of seizing every day. So this is called Carpe Diem. Do I have to seize the day? Can't I just go for a coffee, read a book, see a film, meet some mates for a couple of beers, and then go home and watch the telly? I'll Carpe Diem tomorrow. I've got nothing else on. I started writing poetry years ago. In fact, my mum found my old exercise book from primary school, which had some poems in, and the first poem I wrote, and I do remember the poem, and it's so funny to reread it, was a poem called Red Blood, White Death, and it was about sharks. And yeah, it's an interesting poem, but I do remember I got a gold star for it, which was great. Since then I've been writing on and off. I've written short stories, one act and one scene plays, but since performing at the Freeway in October I've just really concentrated on poetry. This is my book, my anthology, The Stand-Up Poet, Selected Poems, by me, Jack Hughes, and there's a lovely picture of me performing on the back. This came out last month and is available to buy from my website, which is somewhere in the back of the book. There we go. JackHughesPoetry.webs.com. That will take you to a link, or you can buy it in the Winton Bookshop in Cardigan Road, Winton. We've got copies available there. I've got two projects coming up at the moment. I've obviously got my live performances, so you'll see me every first Wednesday of every month at Freeway, and you can guarantee I will have copies to sell. I'm going to be supporting John Cooper Clarke at the Winchester Pub on Thursday the 6th of October, and again I certainly will have product there. And then forthcoming projects, I've got two new projects. I've got a series of poems that I'm putting together that are with the idea of telling the story of a relationship, and I'm hoping that that's going to be something that can be turned into either a play or a film. So I'm just working on that at the moment. And the other project I'm working on is my next anthology, which is entitled Madhouse and the Blue Jewish Aardvark, which I'm hoping should be out around this time next year. My contribution to the exhibit are these three sonnets that I wrote, or which I wrote, that are going to be part of the series of poems that represent a relationship from beginning to end. Or actually, if you read the first sonnet, you'll recognise it as being really from end to beginning. I've actually changed them now. They don't. The final versions don't actually read the same as these ones here, but you know, they're still worthy of what this art we call poetry, I suppose. There's an amazing set of exhibits here, different people's poetry. There's one by Billy. Oh yeah, this one, Billy's one. All I Got Is a Fiver. And the first time I heard this poem was when Billy did it on stage at Freeway, and it was just so funny, very poignant, very funny, and real underlying message in there as well about the value of money.
This fiver isn't a lot. It won't even get me 10 minutes on the phone to my mother. Can't even get a bus to or from to see my daughter. I wish I was a rich man, I really wish I was. I wish I was a rich man, really wish I was. When I was younger, people used to stop and stare, all and say I look poor, all because I got no fiver. Now I've got a tenner, they have to borrow a fiver. I wish I was a rich man, I really wish I was. Never fear, Billy's here, I'm here to save you. I'm taking you up the pub, but there's £7 a pint of cellar, so you can get pissed on a fiver. You can piss on a fiver, be a wise man with a fiver, save it, then you get more of it. Don't be like me, a man with only a fiver.
These two, and I think there's another, and this one here, these are by Carrie Wilde. And Carrie's got such an amazing stage presence, and she's got a marvellous use of language and a marvellous use of words, and is able to transport the listener and the reader into the way she paints an image with her words. You can't help but get into that image, which is great. But I just love the way, in terms of the exhibition, I just love the way she's presented the poems, and with the photographs behind it and the cutouts, it just gives it that little bit extra. And it really suits, and the way she's really thought about this, because the way, if you read the poems, the pictures and the way she's presented the poem really suits the poem. It's not just a case of some nice words stuck on a picture. And it really does put me in mind of her stage performances, that every time she does a poem, she transforms from character to character, which is amazing, really. Amazing feat, amazing thing to do.
My love ain't like no red, red rose. My love is like red rum. My love is like a ring of wraiths. My love is like a drum. My love is like a pink, pink pill. My love is out of place. My love ain't like no pink lips smile. My love is like a lace. My love ain't like no red, red rose. My love is like red rum. My love is like a ring of wraiths. My love is like a drum. My love is like a have you read Plans of the Alphane Moon? My love is like a leaf. My love ain't like no green, green grass. My love is like a thief. My love ain't like no red, red rose. My love is like red rum. My love is like a ring of wraiths. My love is like a drum. My love is like an orange set beneath the brim of sea. My love ain't like no bright future. My love is like a tree. My love ain't like no red, red rose. My love is like red rum. My love is like a ring of wraiths. My love is like a drum. My love is like a purple haze. My love is like a breath. My love ain't like no blood and wine, crucifix, Last Supper. My love is like a death, no resurrection. My love is like a red, red rose. My love is like red rum. My love is like a ring of wraiths. My love is like a drum. My love is like a black, black dog. My love is like a night. My love ain't like no ink black blood. My love is a lost kite. Thank you.
Hello, Carrie. Thank you so much for joining us on this lovely sunny day here in Bournemouth in the Bournemouth Library.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being part of the exhibition and bringing these poems with you. And I like the way you've gone to a lot of trouble to write the poem down and then cut it out and then put it on a backdrop of a picture. How did you get the idea for that?
Well, I thought, shall I illustrate a poem? Shall I put photography with a poem? I thought, well, if I do either of those things, the poetry is liable to sink beneath the visuals. So what can I do? I'll put the poetry on top of the visuals, so it simply can't sink under them.
Yeah.
So that's how that came about. It wasn't any particularly complicated artistic theorising. It was pure practicality. Can people read this?
Yes,
Good.
I've read them all, and it took me a little while to work out they were yours. I wondered where they'd come from. They'd come up with this great idea of what you've done. I've also seen you brought some books along with you.
I have, yes. The little black and white one found its way into a glass locker.
Yeah.
As my notebooks tend to wander off.
Because I've had this just for the customer, just for the viewer at home. This notebook of Kerry's I found in the recording studio after we'd been making the audio book, which Kerry very kindly came and did the vocals for. I thought to myself, Kerry must be wondering where this book's gone to, because there's so many delightful poems and illustrations, and I'm thinking it must be really, really wide. So I've got in touch with Kerry, so look, I've got your book if you're worried, but I now realise, having spent a festival, the Purbeck Festival with Kerry, that you have many books, don't you?
Multiples of books.
They quite often get lost, don't they?
They do.
They're left behind. But they're favourites with I like the tassel on this one, to keep this one locked up. And you actually wrote a poem at the festival as well, didn't you?
I did, yes. I wrote a couple of poems at the festival.
Yeah, and you actually performed it as well, didn't you? Which I thought was really good.
We did quite well as poets at a folk festival, I thought.
Yeah, we're putting together. We've put together the Circle of Freeway Poets, which is from the Freeway Night at the Winchester, first Wednesday of the month. And we all feel a really good bond on the freeway front. So to take it to festivals has been good fun, isn't it?
It has. And thank you very much for taking us.
And I did lend you some pegs as well, didn't I?
You did, yes.
Yeah. So if we basically, what gave you the inspiration to send me the picture of the? I actually did some research. There's a Scottish light fitting. I've been told, whether that's true or not, or someone was just winding me up. But what made you send me this picture to write about?
Well, the chain of it reminds me of ink, of lines of ink,
Right.
and the white and the black monochromaticness of it is very papery and inky. And I thought, well, if a poem can't be made of that,
Yeah,
what can
right.
it be? But I was very, very pleased with what you came up for. The claustrophobia, the
Yeah.
darkness of it.
Yeah. I thought, basically, when I was given the dark picture, I thought the best thing I can do is just write the darkest poem about the darkest room possible. And yeah, I think I hit a chord with yourself with it. You're obviously calling it Kerry's room. And unfortunately, in this poem, you do actually end up being part of the book, in which the book tells a story of how your last day in life and how your life ends, but you don't get to read it because you're actually dead by then. So it's a bit dark, and obviously the devil's there to help you die. And, yeah, and in the darkest room, one I've known you to hide all these years, don't fall asleep in all your fears. And so it was a really interesting picture to be sent to write about, and yeah, the challenge was good. So thank you for that. Something that I'd like to talk about, the double album that I've made, one of which is 6 tracks of an EP made with the band Jury, Joe Potter, Joe Woodham, Jack on the drums and Jack on the guitar. Some time ago now, I made this with these guys from some of the words I've got in the book, and as a spin-off, I met Kerry at the Freeway Poetry Night and was totally amazed with her voice, and we started talking about making an audio book. This EP album took 3 years to put together. The audio book, which is fantastic, took 3 days of recording. As Kerry just came in and just read word for word perfect without any second takes. Around about, I think, 36 of the audios from the book, and it was just beautiful to be part of that and to have you come in and do that, and to get your voice. And now I still listen back and think, you know, what a great choice to bring your voice into it. And did you enjoy making that?
Oh yes, thank you. That was an amazing experience, since I hadn't really recorded anything before. To have a recording studio and to be able to play with a recording studio was great. Okay, I don't usually write children's poems, but Steve likes this poem, so I'm going to read it. The Rubber Duck Who Couldn't Swim. There was a rubber duck who couldn't swim. No one had taught him, and he'd never asked. It was supposed that rubber ducks could swim, and he was put in someone's bath at last. But though he could not swim, he did not sink. He floated, and his fear dissolved. He practised on the sly in bathroom sinks. To learn to swim he very much resolved. Each night he'd waddle on his secret feet he kept tucked up by day when he was seen, and stretch his legs and flare his wings to beat ripples on the water, watery seams. And when this montage narrative was sown, he ran away from home and went to sea, for sinks and baths were too easy for him. Out of the window, out to sea he'd flown. And the seagulls smiled to see a rubber duck soar in air pockets high above the surf. Wondered how on earth did that rubber duck get his feet off the ground, off the earth? The moral of this story, I suppose, if there's a moral, I suspect there is that nobody ever really knows what may turn out his if he tries a bit.
Have you done anything about the train yet?
No, I haven't. That will be my evening poem.
Evening poem, the train, yeah, because after our folk festival we took a steam train to Swanage and had chips, didn't we? So it was good fun.
A train and chips poem.
Yeah, train and chips poem. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being part of it, and we'll see you soon.